Come in here and talk about some of the reflections that I've had being in the West and witnessing a genocide and witnessing the injustice of Palestinians. I'm just going to talk basically on what we can do in the West, and obviously there's some obvious things that we can do. We can raise awareness, obviously make dua. There's things that we can do at the bare minimum, but I'm just going to try to just talk a little bit more about moral obligation, like things that I don't know, just reflected on. So number one of the obvious reflection is that you can see crystal clear, crisp, the evil and the ignorance of people, and how their hearts are hardened and their ears, their eyes, everything is not witnessing true crime. Number two, self-rectification with our Lord, with Allah, making sure we're wearing hijab properly, making sure we are praying on time, making sure that we are submitting fully to Allah. Like, yes, protests are important, but the call of Allah, the help of Allah, we need to self-rectify ourselves in the most up like it's more of like it's a time to self rectify ourselves, our intentions, like our our way of life here, because what we see is death. I know it is, there's an injustice part of it, obviously, stuff like that, but we are witnessing death, so we need to take death very serious in the West. Another reflection I had was about racism for for us and like our the next generations, is that if we are standing for Palestine, obviously because of injustice, the genocide, and like how disgusting it is, Israel, what Israel's doing. We're standing with the Palestinians due to the injustice, but we're also, if we are standing with the Palestinians, we must allow our children to marry an Arab or any other race out there. If we are so, obviously, like, this is just showing that we need to remove our biases in every aspect of our lives. And now going into some of the other things as a parent, as this is a parenting channel, I did want to address that, like, a lot of people who were like into gentle parenting and things like that were actually like pro Israel, and it just scares me that these people who are pushing gentle parenting, being into with your emotion, like your kids' emotions, all this stuff, controlling the anger, sharing is caring, like all these people were either pro-Israel or they were neutral and things like that. It just is crazy to me that they push so many things of positivity and inclusion and like all this stuff, behind closed doors they are evil. Like that they are so like holding so much bias, and I just, that's why, like, I never trust morality that is not from objective sources. The whole idea, like, I'm just going off a tangent, sorry, but there's this thing that all humans will deal with: suffering. There's a spectrum of suffering, but like, I will not let my child just, I will let them see perspective of suffering. Like, if not like that sounds so weird, like, I don't, if they get hurt, I'm like, just get up, like, I coddling, like, we need, yes. um Things put, like, no, like, resilience in our children. What I mean, like, if that's the best way that I can put it, is we need to teach our kids resilience, because these kids in these like in Palestine and like all over the world, in our ummah, there is people who live in our ummah below, at and a little bit above the poverty line, and they hold much resilience, and the way that their maturity level is, they are beacons of how a child should be raised. These kids hold something unique that a lot of the other people in our ummah don't have, these characteristic traits. And I took that to heart, and I'm like, I have made like small changes that will never succumb to much, but making sure that there's a lot, like there's minimal toys, minimal extravagant things like birthdays, like these things your provide signals to your child that they are worthy and important and like so uh, like in a pedestal. Like you have to really make sure that our children are humble, and the only way that I feel like that can happen is if we are disciplined parents in a way. Like I make sure that we don't buy everything that she wants and things like that. Like we could do our little part um in our lives. We are a balanced faith, a balanced religion, and so um not overindulging, like allowing our children to know what overindulging is. And the scary thing is like this the concept of like money, power, and greed, racism, things um, are not understood in an educational level. If we were to explain to our children these definitions, that would mean nothing if we as parents do not rectify ourselves, because everything rubs off to our children, so no words matter at this point. We'll go. I just wanted to talk about some of the reflections of this genocide, um, some of the thoughts are playing in my head, but yeah, we're standing with Palestine. We're calling out to Allah, most importantly calling to Allah, and perfecting how we could be the best servants possible.